Right, so just in here I'm going to grab some black, dark sienna, maybe a small amount of light red, good dark colour basically. Mix that with a palette knife up in there. You pick it up and put it back down again with your palette knife like so as you're mixing it. That way you'll get a really nice mix. We don't want a marble mix for this. Clean off the knife. You need to work with a clean knife to start with. Don't have it smeared everywhere and all over it. It'll just ruin it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run the knife through like sort of an angle and get a little ridge on the end of the knife. And then work out, you guys don't really know what I'm doing yet, but I do, so I'm just going to touch with the heel of the knife just there, and then put the knife on square. I'm going to run it up, straight up like so, up to around, let's have a look at that. I actually just want to come up at a different angle, so I know that it wants to come more to this side, straight up to about there. It's going to be a big old mast, and what I'm doing, I'm marking it out where I'm going to have my mast basically for my little surprise. There. So that's just a guide for me to work from basically. Now I'm going to get another little ridge of paint on the knife. It's pretty important that you get a small smooth ridge, and then just up in here I'm just going to use the palette knife and touch it. See that? Now up in here I only want to care about the edge on the left really, to be honest. So I'm just going to pull up with a knife like so all the way up, touch it just in there, and then what you do, you use the heel of the knife again, and you can actually run right through the paint. See that? But be careful, it's only that edge I'm wanting to be nice and neat. Straight up. To there. See, so that's all I'm after for that stage. And then I'm just going to come on, say about there, touch it and run across with the knife, straight across with that. To there. Just using the knife for this at the moment. Sometimes if it goes a bit too far over, like it has just there, what you can do, you can just use the knife, clean knife by the way, and you can just touch that colour that you've got there a little bit, just to pick up the colour, and you can actually push back up into that and let go. There you go, you got a perfectly straight line again. It's a good way of using oils like this. I really enjoy it. Now this is actually going to come round, so what I need to do is just get another little roll of paint on the knife, and then just up in here, just going to touch it with a bit more paint, so that I can use the heel there, the heel of the knife, and I can use that colour then to make this mask taller. It needs that dark contrast. Run that all the way back down again. There we go. So that's as main mass done. Don't need to worry about that for the moment. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to do the same thing again. I'm going to run the knife through the paint, but this time I'm going to actually use the knife in a different way. I'm going to come from a... It's just... In fact, no, I need to make that top a tiny bit higher. So just use the heel of the knife, run through it, and I want it to go to there. You couldn't see it before, but you can now. Right, so again, I'm just gonna, this time I'm not actually picking up a ridge this time. All I'm doing is I'm running the knife directly through the paint like so. Now I'm working at an angle that comes down to this. So I'm going to start off up here, and I'm going to actually run the knife down through, see that? Till it meets to that. That's my guide. Now we've got us rope which is holding that up as well. We've done that. So we've killed two birds with one stone basically there. Now again, get a little roll of paint on the knife. Now just where this mast is here, I'm going to run up the edge of the mast, and then just in there I'm going to touch it and have it so that it comes down at an angle. See that? So I'm running it down to this edge here basically. Now it's all going to be dark in there, so it don't matter too much at first. I just want to get an indication of where I'm going with this. Like that. All that's going to be dark in there. So all I'm doing is just marking it out for myself where I want it to go. Because we've already got paint on here, sometimes it's an idea to go back in like so, scrape off that excess paint a bit, just out of the centre of that. Just to take off that excess bit of paint that you don't need. It sort of like works against you sometimes when you're doing something like this. So I like to just scrape that out first. There. Now the whole idea here is to basically use a brush for this, but I'm using this as a way of getting paint in there first. So I'm going to use the knife and just get some dark in. Don't risk going towards the edges too much at the moment. I want to get some dark colour in there. Maybe a bit down in there. Clean the knife off, and then I'm just going to use this little brush here actually. So I'm going to clean off any paint that I had on that. Go into the dark paint with it, and then because there's all this dark on here as well, I can just mix it with it. Now to steady my hand, I'm just going to rest on here. I just want to come in from here, you see, just there. I want it to run down that edge where I've used the knife before. All the way down that edge, and it will mix still with the liquid white underneath, so there's a lot you can get away with this. Just going to actually blend that colour into there first. Use them angles. I'm just making it dark for the sail. Right down there. Just try, if you can, follow that edge that you created before. If you go too far with it, you can always make it come out a little bit more, but I'm fine like this. Try and get it in one go. Get a bit more darker colour. Let that come down there. Blend behind it. That's good. Some good dark colour in there basically. Come from there, actually going to come right through to there, nice and sharp point to this. Reload, because wet on wet is important, that you reload your brush really regular. Just that corner in there. So just on that bottom edge, I'm just going along first. Just from there, I want to get the dark edge in basically. All the way along that bottom. There. And then a nice sharp point at the end. Be very careful at this stage, and your edges especially. Lock that in. It's going to be a lot darker than it is, so for now I'm happy to just leave that part of that. So I'm going to go back to my knife again. And now reload a ridge on the edge, and then with that I know that I want to come from here and I want to come up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually start up here. I think I'm going to use the knife and start up there. So from there I want it to come down. Perfect. You can do it all in one stroke if you're lucky. I want that to come right back. So that's going to go to about there. See that there? Now again, I'm only wanting to paint on the inside of this. So I can use the heel of the knife as well to come up into that part. And what I want to do is actually try and get an edge on the outside there that's a bit darker. That's good. You even pull away from that. It's all going to be good and dark in the sail inside it. It's just a little indication from myself really, more than anything. Good. Again, scrape off any excess paint that's in there. Careful with this. There. Back to my brush again with the dark on it. Good dark colour. We're just going to block that in. I'm just going to use the brush for this. Just up in there. Paint this in now. around the edge. Allow it to block in there. As long as you don't come outside them lines that you've made, you'll be fine. I love working freehand like this, so with no drawing. I really do. You find it quite freeing, to be honest. I do like to draw. I love to draw with pencils, and sometimes it's just nice to paint like this with no marks whatsoever, just an image in your mind, and then just putting it out there on canvas. As you saw, I used the knife to draw for me, basically. There we go. Paint behind that. You need quite a lot of paint to do this. I'm going to paint dark at the bottom of that now. See, always I'm staying and I'm being very aware of not to come too close to that edge, because I'll just kill it. So what I'll do, I picked up the light colour on the brush, clean out the brush completely, go right back into your dark colour again, and I'll load it to a nice point, and then with that I can come in here and I can just use that to do the opposite side of this sail. I'm going to come inside the mark first. I don't want to risk going too far with it. Paint behind, so let that come through there, right through. Forget that pause there for now. So blocking, you see, like I am now. Afterwards, there we go. That's good. Now it's nice as well to just use the knife with nothing on it. You can get some lovely sharp lines and nice edges to this. That's what I want. I want it to really zing in there. See that? Just there, I want it to disappear, so you can only just see the rope. Right, back to my brush again, with the dark brown on it. And I'm just going to pull down and really try and get this edge spot on now. Right, come down like so. Temptation is to want to rest your hand on it. You know, if you want, you could do that and you could just sort of like do all this later, but it's just the way I paint. I find this quite an easy way of doing it. Now I reload with fresh paint. I'm just going along that bottom area just to get some dark in there so it stands out basically. Right, got detail in here as well, some real detail, so I want a sharp edge to that. That's what I wanted, a nice sharp edge, and then that goes down to that sharp edge. Something like that. That's good. That's coming somewhere like where I wanted it. Now, where the mast is where the boat's going to be, just here in the water. So just for this stage I'm going to come in with a knife again. Cut another ridge of paint, and I want to do a basic shape of this boat that we've got here. So I want that to go up about there. So first of all I'm just going to do this top edge of it like so and pull down a bit. It's going to be like a really nice classy yacht is this. One of the modern ones. And that's going to come to just in front of the sail. Maybe a tiny bit more. Yeah, I think that's nice. Pull down. So I'm just doing it with the knife right now. The knife alone. Just creating the hole basically for this boat. Now this back part of the boat was quite a way back to about there. Pull down underneath that. Should be a dark colour. Right, so what I want us to do now, fresh roll of paint, and I'm just going to come to the front of this boat and then come down at that angle. There. Something about like so. Get a really clean ridge of paint. And you can come in here and just pull that down to the water's edge where you want the bottom of the boat to be. There. Pull a bit of that dark in. That's how you paint a boat with a palette knife. I will use brushes as well though. Just like I did up in there basically. I'll do the same thing I did with the boat, with the masts as I will with the boat. The boat itself is coming along, and then at the back it just comes down like so. I want to paint some dark in behind that, just down to the water's edge, like so. And then all the definition will come from the work that I do with the brush. Now, I know that we've got a little hull for this boat, it's got a hull to it. So just to do it in silhouette first of all, I'm just going to put that hull just about there. So I'm going to use a small edge of the knife for this, just a small part of the knife. The hull comes in around there. It actually goes at an angle down to it. There. You might see it starting to come soon, the shape that we're trying to get. I'll neaten that off of a brush afterwards. Just going to get some colour in for the moment. And then straight behind the hole we've got like a box or something set on the back. So I'm just going to use the big edge of the knife now, and that's going to come through, straight through like that. Yes. So you can take paint off, you can put paint back on with the knife. It's all about the angles that you use. I'm going to wipe off my knife again. Now, we have a couple of people sat on the back of this boat as well, I think. Not going to be painting them in yet though. Just want to get some of this dark colour in here first. Bring that up just a tiny bit. Right, it's time to get on with the brushwork now. Right, so I'm going to use, let's think, just a really cheap brush. Use a cheap one for this. Don't always have to pay huge amounts of money for your brushes. It's what you do with them that really counts. Just in silhouette. And blending the dark basically into them edges. So the paint will be on here with brush strokes basically. Flatten that paint that's in there. Flatten it right down, got a hair there. Don't know how that sneaked in. Let's get rid of that. Little blighter. So I'm basically just flattening the paint out with this brush. I'm not after getting the details or anything yet. That's it. Now I could be brave and try this front bit as well, but I don't know if it's a wise move now. I don't think it is. I'm going to use this brush. It's quite a bit more easy to get details with. Use this one. I want it to come down at about that angle, maybe a tiny bit sharper. The boat has a tendency of getting longer on you as you go in. There. There we go. Something about like that.